Hi guys, so we're here today with Chris from HiChem Australia on the project that we're currently working on. Thanks for coming down, Chris.
More than happy to be here, Benny.
Yeah, a little bit about this project. We were approached 3 or 4 months ago by the client with a world of challenges, and ahead of us a lot of pitching in the concrete, superficial and structural cracking, and just a lot of inconsistencies in the substrate. So we approached our biggest supplier, HiChem, and asked what they thought our approach should be, and what system to adopt. You can tell us a little bit about the system that we are using here, Chris.
Sure. Look, obviously this has been a really challenging slab. It's clearly been through many years of use as a heavy manufacturing workshop. So you've got a lot of pitting in the surface, a lot of holes, divots, imperfections, as you'd expect with an old slab that's been through a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously going with a 3-coat system here. The first coat that's used is HiChem GPT, which has a couple of purposes. Obviously used to patch the major imperfections in the slab, such as you can see through here. Smaller divots as well, localised patching, and then obviously it's applied over the whole layer as a prime to fill in major imperfections. The next layer is obviously the HiChem Superfloor, which is used as a flood coat. And again, what that does is it builds up the thickness of the product, gives you some strength, abrasion and impact resistance, and again, filling in more of the imperfections in the slab. And the final coat is the HiChem PA300, which is a coloured polyaspartic, and what that does is gives it 100% UV stability, so that in 20 years' time this floor will be looking just the same in terms of its colour. Retains its gloss really well, great for scratch resistance. So all in all, this is going to come out great.
And just with that top coat, I believe we're adding a polypropylene non-slip additive in the top coat. That's quite common.
Absolutely.
For us to use in the polyaspartic.
Exactly. So that's what will give you a bit of traction underfoot, and a bit of slip resistance. You can vary how much slip resistance or how much of the additive you use, depending on what texture you're after. But there's quite a range there, and that'll give it a lot of strength and slip resistance in the long term.
Awesome. That's well, the idea is that we get the floor down once and walk away from it, never having to come back to repair anything or fix anything. Certainly one of the challenges for us was our preparation method. So our team of guys, which you might see behind us, have done a really good job and a very thorough job over the entire area. So the process that we adopted was to start off by going through and punching down, basically jackhammering all the bolts that were sticking out so that they weren't going to damage our remote control grinders. Then we came through with a few diamond grinders with quite an aggressive bond and also grit on there to really clean up the slab. Then we came back with the same grinders but with a much smoother grit this time to essentially remove any swirls and scratch patterns left from the coarse cut. And then finally we had a ride-on shot blaster coming through. And the great thing with the ride-on shot blaster was not only was it picking up a lot of the heavy dust and debris that was left behind from the grinding, but it was also preparing all those pits that you see around here that the diamond grinder just wasn't going to get. Certainly one of the concerns that we had going into this project was being able to deliver with the amount of volume of product that we needed, and I think that phone call that I made to you was actually well received. So what sort of went into producing the volume that we needed for this? I mean, you'd probably have a better idea than I would, the volumes that we've placed an order for.
Look, obviously this is a very large project, 11,000 metres. So typically we'd supply product in 20-litre tins, but for this project, you came to us and suggested that you need larger packaging for quick portioning of material on site. So this has all been supplied in 200-litre drums for ease of processing and to get your guys getting through the job as quick as possible.
I must say though, the turnaround time was a lot quicker than what I'd expected. We deal with a number of different suppliers and manufacturers, and I was actually really surprised how quick HiChem had turned around once the order was placed, that first
That's
order
good
was
to hear.
placed. So,
and your guys have done a fantastic job of the preparation. If you can see here the profile and the substrate, you know that this 3-coat system that's being applied over the top, it is never going to come off here. So it's a great profile.
Perfect. Now to watch the boys get some product out, hey?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.